Hello. Hello, hello, hello. Happy Monday. How's everybody doing tonight? I hope well. Gonna invite a few friends, I think, if I can do that. Let's see. Okay. Hi, Jim. Looks like I was able to get a connection. I have 3 people on. I can't tell who's on. But that's all right. If you just drop a... Oh, hi, John. Wow, great to have you join me tonight. Long time no talk to. And Jim's on. If you all would do me a favor, just so I can keep track of who's who and when everybody logs on, if you would just type live in the comments, so I know that you caught the broadcast live. If you are tuning in on the replay, if you would please type in replay. And we're going to just kind of hang out for a couple minutes and let some people hop on. I invited a couple people, and I encourage you to invite anyone that you think might want to hear about dreams and dreaming too small. Hi, Angela. Happy Monday to you. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks, Jim, for letting me know you're watching live. Jim's in the living room. I'm out in my office. He always tunes in at least for a few minutes, so I have a viewer when I go live. Throughout the time that we're together talking, my love language is likes and loves and laughing, whatever. So feel free to use those little emoji buttons. Hey, Stephanie, thanks for joining in. If you would just, give me feedback so I know that I'm making sense, especially tonight. I'm a little sleep deprived. That's kind of a long story. We won't go there. But that way I know that that you're actually listening and that you, that like I said, that I'm making sense. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. And again, if you're tuning in live, if you would just type live in the comments, that would be great. And also, again, if you would like to share this at any point, know of anyone, feel free to do that. For those of you who might not know me yet, hey Stacy, I'm Mary Moss, and I live in Richmond, Virginia, and I am an author and writer and poet, speaker, Christian storyteller, and I also have a day job as an administrator. The current program that I'm supporting is a transportation program, and that's my alter ego. I really like the job, so I'm fortunate that if I do have to have a job, I have one that I really enjoy. I've been at the job about 8 months, and it's working out really well. And it's funny because it's about the time I started realizing what my dream was, or at least the first inkling of it. It's been a long process, almost a year now. In fact, just about exactly a year now. And I went to a dream workshop in Florida. A lot of you have probably already heard the story 1,000 times. It was life-changing. Flew down there for 3 days. And all of us who were there were about 30 of us, had never met. We became a family, very literally, during those 3 days. And have been on a crazy journey ever since, all of us. I always knew that I was supposed to be a writer. I was made to be a writer as far back as I can remember. I wrote poetry and made up stories, always had a great imagination. And I'm actually really creative, artsy, craftsy, but the best way that my creativity comes out is through writing and speaking and just sharing encouragement and testimony with people. my dream, I had to come up with a concrete dream. So my dream, after about 10 years of eventually losing track of what my dream was, and even remembering that I had one, was that I was going to write a book, a second book that I had said many years ago I was going to write. And so I kind of begrudgingly said, okay, that's what I'm going to do. And it's coming along. I'm making great progress on it. So that's the good thing. I've had some ups and downs and some bumps, like everybody does when they're on the way to pursuing something that that is important to them. But I'm hanging in there, and it's coming along. I'm really excited. I said recently I'm starting to fall in love with the book, and that's always a good thing. I'm also available for speaking engagements at retreats or women's groups, church groups, whatever. And I look forward to getting back into doing that too. But for right now, my major focus is on this book. And I realized a couple weeks ago that, yes, the book, writing this book, that's my dream. That's my immediate goal. That's how I'm kickstarting my dream. But my dream, my kind of mission in life that I developed a long time ago was to help other people figure out how their story interconnects with God's story. And that's really broad. I do that basically through writing and speaking. That traditionally is how I had always done it. But I realized recently that I've had the opportunity to help several friends kind of work with their social media a little bit to kind of get it to a little bit better place for them to be more successful. I talked for a long time with a friend on a lunch hour recently. She was feeling a little lost in her journey, and we kind of just talked through a lot of things, and I think she felt better about things. And in talking to her and helping her, I was also able to clarify some things for myself. So that was a real benefit. But the other areas that I realized I'm also living into that larger dream were things that I didn't plan. Things that I didn't say, okay, I'm going to do this as part of my dream. I realized that they were part of my dream after the fact. And one of them is a group of women who got together and we worked on dream boards. And, you know, it was a mixed match of, it's actually my husband's cousin, who's also a good friend, a couple of her friends, a couple of my friends. We all got together, hit it off. And we've decided that we're going to just be like a little women's group, and we're going to have another dream board session because we're going to have some new members joining us in a couple weeks. And we just get together once a month. We might do a book study. We don't know. But we all hit it off really well, and there was that sense of sisterhood. And so I realized that that's one way that I'm ministering and living into that, because there were some really powerful exchanges during that time together. The other way is that there's a small group of us, 3 other writers and myself, who get together once a month, and we just kind of talk about writing, where we are, and writing in our lives, and writing about our lives, and just writing. It's been really interesting. We didn't have any idea also in that group what that was going to look like. So it's really been kind of fun to see that we, all 4 of us, just really clicked. We're in different places, different ideas, different styles, different reasons for wanting to write, and different stories to tell, of course, because every story is unique. But it's been wonderful to gather with these different groups of women, all of us kind of looking for ways to connect and to figure out how our story interconnects with God's story. And so it made me realize that a lot of times, just speaking for myself, but I think for a lot of my friends too, we decide that this is a path we're going to take. And we have a concrete idea, a checklist, a set of goals, a to-do list. This is how it's going to work. This is what I'm going to do. And when this is accomplished, then my dream will be achieved and I can move on to the next dream. And I realized that there are a couple flaws with that. First of all, like I said, this other larger expansion of that dream didn't come from me. I think it came from God. He put the people in my path who were in the same place as I was, and looking to join with me in that journey. And it also allowed me to live into my gifts and graces of an encourager, and just being in fellowship with other women, looking for whatever their dreams are, whatever their goals are. And I'm sure there are going to be other areas that that dream is going to play out that I don't even know about yet. And so I've committed for myself to keep all my options open and not say, oh, I'm just going to write this book. That's it. That's all I'm doing. That obviously for right now is a primary focus for me, but it's not going to be to the exclusion of all else, of every other opportunity. So that was the thing that I had mentioned a couple weeks ago, and last Monday I was really on a roll, and really in kind of an odd place with the book, and I just wanted to push through. But I've pushed through it, and like I said, it's going really well, and I'm writing, and I'm really excited to be doing that. But a couple of other things about dreams. Some experiences that I've had, some experiences that some of my friends have shared with me. I can always tell when I'm getting ready to make a breakthrough, or when I'm right on the verge of, kind of bursting out into an area. And that's because I get they're almost like anxiety attacks about crazy things that I have no business being anxious about. But I get that voice in me, that doubt, that, whatever it is that's trying to deter me. And that's how I know that I'm probably doing what I'm supposed to be doing, and that my next step is going to be something that's really powerful. So I'm trying to be cognizant of that, and to not look at that as, I'm doing something wrong, or I've got to stop doing this and do it a different way, or maybe this, or maybe that. I just need to realize that that's the counter force in the universe against the powerful force that is being unleashed. And I think we all have that powerful force within us. And we need to fight for that, and we need to push through when we come up against a brick wall, we come up against an obstacle, against people, whatever, who are fighting against what we're about. And maybe it's just me. Am I the only one that gets some kind of a block, or an interference of some kind when they're right at the point of making a breakthrough or turning a big corner? I mean, it happened to me this morning at work, and it was ridiculous. My boss had asked me to research something, and I just panicked. And it was something so easy, and he just wanted information, and I went through this whole scenario in my head of, I wonder this, and oh my gosh, what is this? And it was crazy, but when I caught myself, I realized what was going on. So I was able to kind of rein myself back in and say, okay, this is what's going on, moving on. So that was the second part. The third thing is to be cautious of people trying to be helpful, who are concerned about you because they don't understand your dream, and they want to advise you against it, or They think that maybe you might get hurt, it might not work out, you might fail, whatever. And they are genuinely concerned for your well-being. And it's hard for them, if they don't understand what your dream is, to understand that, that that's part of the process. And that if something doesn't work out, that doesn't mean your dream is over. But a lot of people have never had those experiences, so they don't understand. And when they don't understand what we're doing, especially if it's something different than we've done, it can kind of cause them concern, I guess, especially if they genuinely care about us. Sometimes they don't genuinely care about us, and I've seen a couple memes going around that maybe they don't want you to succeed, because then they don't have an excuse not to go after their own dream. So that's another way to look at it. I don't like to be negative, but that's a reality as well. So, this whole thing about dreaming, about our whole life's vision that we cast for ourselves, it's pretty complicated. It's not just cut and dried. And I guess if it were easy, it wouldn't really be a dream, would it? So that's something that we need to think about. But so, like I said, I'm not going to ramble on like I so often do. I'm going to just kind of cut it short. But I had those ideas that I had jotted down, some of them last week and some of them over the weekend, just about my dream journey, and the journey of a couple of other people who have actually reached out to me with some of these scenarios. So I really appreciate you all tuning in tonight. It's always great to connect with you all. Have a great Monday, rest of your Monday. Have a great week, and I will be back next week. And if you have a topic you want to discuss, message me in the meantime. Otherwise, you're at my mercy. Thanks. Good night.